Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into my latest edition of my top waiver wire targets and my top streamable defenses for week 10 of this NFL season. I do want to apologize to my weekly listeners. This video is coming out a lot late today. I had my long work meeting today, and then we had a work dinner afterwards. So getting to this a little bit later than normal, but let's just go ahead and dive right into this video. As always, though, just in case we have any first-time listeners, just so you guys know, these players I'm about to speak about in the waiver wire targets, these players have to have at least 50% roster availability per the Yahoo leagues, so there is a good chance that they're available for you. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it, starting with the quarterback position. I am going to go with that Pasternaut, the rocket scientist, for my top quarterback out of the week, Josh Dobbs, who just joined the Vikings. He's available in 82% of the leagues. Now, he didn't throw the ball too much, right? He only had 158 yards, but he had 2 passing touchdowns. And then he also, what I like about Dobbs is his rushing ability. He gives you a higher floor as a fantasy quarterback. This past weekend, he had 7 rushes for 66 yards and a touchdown. And what I like is we'll have to see if it can continue, but the fact that he was able to go in off of 3 practices and was able to produce like this in that crazy win over the Falcons this week, and he was able to be a viable fantasy option earlier this season with the Arizona Cardinals, I think it's just only going to be an upward tick for him. He joins an offense that can move the ball. He joins an offense that can put up points. And it does certainly sound like we're going to get Justin Jefferson back here sooner than later, according to Kevin O'Connell's appearance this past Monday on the Pat McAfee show. Now, he doesn't draw the greatest matchup this week. I'll go ahead and warn you guys. They are going against the Saints. Saints only giving up 13.9 points per game to quarterbacks this year. That's the 7th fewest. But with all these injuries to the quarterback position, you kind of got to look for some unique options, and I think Dobbs presents that with his rushing floor. My running back out of the week, it is first of all, I want to say this. It's thin out there on the waivers, isn't it? Especially if you're looking for a running back ad. You know what? I think this would be worthy of a stash ad. Keaton Mitchell, he's available in 95% of the leagues right now. He's the undrafted rookie running back out of Baltimore, and I heard some good things out of him back in the training camp preseason part of the year. And then I think he started the year either on the PUP list or the IR list because of an injury, and then he was able to work himself back. And man, he definitely made his mark with the limited touches he had this past weekend. He actually had 9 rushes for 138 yards and a touchdown. He had 1 target in the passing attack. But now I do factor in that the Ravens had a big lead, so they didn't want to, waste their carries on a Gus Edwards, but I think he's shown enough where maybe he should be playing over a Justice Hill. Now, he doesn't have the greatest matchup this week. The Ravens are going against the Browns, who are allowing only 12.4 points per game this season. That is the 5th fewest across the NFL. Again, I don't think you want to play Keaton Mitchell right away, but if you are a manager of a Gus Edwards or even a Justice Hill, I think Keaton Mitchell is worthy of an ad, because I think if anything were to happen to one of those running backs, I see Mitchell also being a surprising solid flex play going forward. My wide receiver ad of the week, this is a guy I talked up way earlier in the season, but because he got that concussion, which caused him to miss a game, and I think the Texans had a bye game too, people dropped him and they gave up on him, which was a bad mistake. So he's available in 51% of the leagues right now, so there's a chance that he's out there on your markets and you need wide receiver help. I would definitely try to go grab him. This past weekend, he had 6 receptions for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns on 11 targets. You guys know I love anytime a wide receiver or a tight end is getting those double-digit targets. He even had 2 rushes and 2 yards for only 2 yards. But a reason why I bring that up, the 2 rushes, is the fact that they gave him 2 rushing attempts. Those are manufactured touches. What that shows to me is that the offensive coordinator wants to get him involved in this offense. So I think he has a role going forward where he's a strong wide receiver 2 play. This week, they are going against the Bengals, who are allowing 21.2 points per game. That's right there in the middle of the league at the 16th most allowed. So I do think he's a good play this week, especially because I think with how the Bengals offense is playing right now, I can see this being a pass happy offense for the Texans this week. So I think Tank Dell should be able to get close to that type of production in week 10. My tight end ad of the week, obviously, you guys know we at this point, tight end ad of the weeks, they're not necessarily long term options, they're more of streamable tight ends for this week. So I am going to go with Hunter Henry. He's available in 62% of the leagues. This past weekend, he had 4 receptions for 39 yards and 1 touchdown on 7 targets. So my ideal range for tight ends is that 7 to 9 target range. I feel like when they get those type of targets, they're going to at least get you the receptions, especially in PPR leagues. And the more targets they get, the more opportunities for touchdowns they can. And Hunter Henry's been great over his career at catching touchdowns. And he draws a great matchup this week going against the Colts defense, who are allowing 8.8 points per game against tight ends. That's the 5th most across the NFL. So if you're looking at a streaming option at tight end this week, I would definitely consider Hunter Henry. My flex ad of the week, again, it's very weak out there in the running back market. So at this point of the season, you want to start grabbing handcuffs, right? I'm going with Devin Singletary. He's the handcuff to Dameon Pierce. He did start this week over Pierce because of Pierce's injury. And this past weekend, he didn't really do much. But again, I said last week that Pierce was a sit for me. So it wasn't a great matchup. He had 13 rushes for 26 yards. He had 2 receptions for 0 yards on 2 targets. But what that screams to me is anytime a running back can get 15 touches, I am all about that. So if you are a Pierce manager, I would definitely be trying to get Singletary on your roster. So that way, if Pierce is unable to go again this week, you do have a viable option at the running back spot. And they're going against the Bengals, who are giving up 16.2 points per game to running backs, which is the 14th most allowed in the NFL. Mainly that one is a handcuff ad. You're not going to play him unless Pierce is ruled out. But at this point of the season, when we get closer to the playoffs, you got to start thinking about your running backs, because running backs tend to suffer these injuries around playoff time. So you want to make sure you have a good option, and sometimes the best option for you can be is grabbing one of your running backs, proven backup running backs, as a quality handcuff ad to your roster. So yeah, that is my top waiver wire targets of week 10. Moving into the streamable defenses. And as always, guys, these top streamable defenses, these are available in 50% of the leagues per Yahoo. So there's a good chance that they're available for you to pick up off the waiver wire. And my top streaming defense, I am going to go with the Seahawks against the Commanders. Seahawks are available in 59% of the leagues right now. What I love about this matchup is in Seattle. Seattle obviously has the home crowd factor, that 12th man factor for that Seattle defense. They always typically perform better as a defense at home compared to on the road. And then when you look at this matchup, the Commanders have given up the 2nd most sacks this year, and they are tied for the 4th most giveaways. So they give up the sacks, they give up the giveaways. This game's in Seattle, so I really do like the Seahawks as a sneaky streamable defense for week 10. Another one to consider, I'm considering the Colts against the Patriots. Colts are available in 86% of the leagues right now, and mainly because of the Patriots offense. They're only scoring 15 points a game. That is the 2nd fewest in the NFL, so they're not putting up a lot of points, so that should give you a high floor for a streaming defense. And then what I really like about it is the Patriots are tied for the 4th most giveaways, and the Colts are tied for the 4th most takeaways. So it's a defense that has been really good this season at taking the ball away from the opposing offenses, going against a offense that has been giving the ball away this season. So between that factor and the fact that the New England Patriots struggle to put points on the board, I also think the Colts would be a quality streaming defense for week 10. My number 3 streaming defense of the week, I'm going to go with those Raiders against the Jets. The Raiders are available in 51% of the leagues. Definitely like this matchup after seeing what the Jets did last night against that Chargers defense. When we look at some factors into this, the Jets are tied for the 5th most giveaways this season. So obviously that's factoring how Zach Wilson's playing and just their offense as a whole. And then they all, as far as their offense as a whole, they're only scoring 16.5 7.5 points per game. That is the third fewest in the NFL. So this is a defense that's been proven as a decent streaming defense this season. They are taking the ball away. I'm sorry, the Jets are giving the ball away. And then you're talking about an offense that's just not putting up a lot of points, which gives you that high floor as a streaming defense. My number 4 one, this is going to be in that Thursday night game, the Panthers against the Bears. The Panthers are available in 95% of the leagues, and this is strictly sacks and giveaways, right? The Bears offense has been a complete mess for basically probably, I mean, outside of that Commanders game, the Bears offense hasn't been a legit threat to streaming defenses this season. As far as what they're allowing the third most sacks in the NFL, and the Panthers do have some quality defensive linemen that can get after, assuming that Bagent will play. We'll see if Justin Fields can play. Again, I had that work meeting today, so I did not see if there was any update on Justin Fields. But with that being said, though, the Bears have the most giveaways. So it's an offense that's giving the ball away more than any offense in the NFL. They're giving up the third most sacks. And I know the Panthers defense isn't the greatest thing in the world, but sometimes taking a defense in a matchup between two bad teams can be very beneficial for you. And then wrapping this up, my number 5 streamable defense of the week. You know what? I am going to go with the Bucks against the Titans. The Bucks are available in 72% of leagues. It was confirmed that Will Levis is going to be the starting quarterback going forward. Now, Will Levis has shown some good things, but he also has some turnover-worthy plays that past Thursday matchup against the Steelers. And then when we look at this matchup, the Titans offense, they do have one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and is showing up in the stats. They are tied for the 4th most sacks allowed. The Bucks have a really good front 7 that should be able to get after Levis and pressure him and force him into those rookie mistakes and force those turnovers, which is something that the Bucks defense has been really good at this season. They're actually tied for the 3rd most takeaways through the first 9 weeks of the year. So yeah, the factor in of a rookie quarterback, a good solid defensive front 7 that should be able to get pressure on him, get those sacks, and maybe force those into turnovers, which the Buccaneers have been proven that they've been able to do that this year. So yeah, those are my top streamable defenses and my top waiver wire targets. As always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you haven't not subscribed or followed any of my social medias, make sure you guys are doing that. As always, tomorrow night, you're going to get my top starts and sits for week 10. I'll see you guys then. I'm going to hop off here so I can get this video out to you since it's coming out late. Peace out. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Whenever you're watching this, I'll talk to you guys later.